Welcome to the McAllister Report. We join John McAllister, top football evaluator, as he shares wisdom and interviews coaches and athletes from around the country. Enjoy today's podcast.
Hello, I'm John McAllister with the John McAllister Report, and today I'm leaving the comfort of talking to different people about football or about other programs, and I'm reaching into the strength and conditioning program, which I know very little about. My guest today is the strength coach, assistant football coach, strength coach at Findlay High School. Avery Lane graduated from University of Findlay and a strength program, the science of the strength program, and he's been a lot of different places at smaller schools, bigger schools, and at the college level, Toledo, Eastern Michigan, and he's learned a lot. He's a sponge. And I've watched his result. I've seen his results. I watched Findlay players, and he does a heck of a job with the strength program, getting them bigger and stronger and faster. And if you sit back and listen to my podcast with Avery Lane. Like I said earlier, my guest is Avery Lane. He works with the strength program at Findlay High School, and right now his main job is the assistant direct career coach at BGSU. Coach, tell me real quickly what an a career coach does in a couple sentences.
Yes, sir. Here in the Clean Hub here at Bowling Green State University, we got a new title, the Clean Hub, formerly known as the Career Center. So what the Career Center is, in a nutshell, we help students, all undergrad through alumni status. My job is to help you overall with your professional development. So that could be from learning how to do a resume, how to do an interview, how to look for an internship, how to look for a job, give career advice, coach you through stuff like that. But yeah, all aspects of professional development.
And is that a class and then one-on-one, or how does that work then?
Right. So students can schedule an appointment through their BGSU, my BGSU portal, schedule an appointment with the Clean Hub. So for instance, they can work with me or any other coach one-on-one. You'll have specific appointment type. So say you wanted to come in and work on your resume. Okay. We can work on resume.
Oh, that's good.
We can do mock interviews. I'll show you different platforms, job platforms, things of that nature, just guiding you and trying to lead you in the right direction as far as an internship or a job or career advice.
Well, that's huge. That's really, really good, Coach. I know they had programs like that 500 years ago when I was in school, but nothing like that. Nothing was, nothing like that. And it's really, really good. And so that's your full-time job. And I think, don't you drive back and forth to Findlay then? I mean, because you have workouts at 5:30 or 6 o'clock in the morning with football. Yes. And then you also do soccer. And we'll get into all that stuff in a minute. I guess it's a stroke to you, Coach, that you do all those things. You must be a kid's guy. You must appreciate working with young people.
Yeah, I do. I mean, that's what I'm here to serve, and I enjoy it. That's, like I said, that's why I went to school for it. Strength and conditioning. I always wanted to, work with athletes and, on the working in higher education, just helping and doing my best to serve, others.
Well, that's really, really good. Okay, now we're going to talk in one program that I know very little about, and one interview I'm going to do a terrible job because I don't have much background in this. When I was a head football coach, and even as an assistant coach, back then we had the cool thing was the weight machine with stationary weights. And I remember buying $400 worth of free weights, and the athletics director was going to go crazy. He thought I was going to kick kids' broken necks. I was going to throw out their backs, but we did a good job with it. And it's so advanced now.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about how you got started. Let's talk about how did you get started in this? But tell me a little bit more about it now.
Right. Going back a little bit, I was raised in a football household. My dad was a 2-time All-American at Central State University, and that's down in Wilberforce.
Right.
Went to the Raiders. So I grew up, playing sports, watching him and listening to him tell me what I had to do to be a better athlete. Was never truly like a big weight room person growing up until I really got to high school. And then seeing that how important it was playing against schools, from where I'm from, like Dayton Centerville, Dayton Wayne, Beaver Creek, big schools, big programs, big guys. So weight room was huge for us in high school. And then by the time I got 11th grade, I was 5'11", 170. That's 11th grade. Senior year with the growth spurt, I was 6'2", 220. After my first year as a walk-on at University of Cincinnati, I was like 255. So I started understanding the importance of the weight room, what it could do for you physically and mentally. And then when I was under Coach Marotti, who's at Ohio State now. So I had Coach Marotti as a strength and conditioning coach at UC. And just been in that environment, I knew that's something I wanted to do, what I wanted to major in. I went into school undecided. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. But once I got around that environment, I knew I wanted to coach. And I didn't know the name of the major or what I need to go into. There was athletic training. Right. There was kinesiology. There's things like that. But when I transferred to Findlay later on, they had a strength and conditioning program. And that's how I got into it.
And you call it a science too, don't you?
Yeah.
Yep. I think it is a science, Coach.
It is.
Done
some
right.
Schools,
that's not.
Some schools will use the title exercise. Yes. Yep. Some schools will use the title maybe exercise science, but there's different realms of that. But overall, in a nutshell, we had strength and conditioning at the University of Findlay.
Okay, it's really good. I saw something where I read something about you, and you said you never have enough tools in your box. And that's so true. You got to know a lot of different things, don't you? You got to, and I think with this strength program, well, so let's talk boys and girls. Let's talk boys first. When you start a young man on strength training, where do you start? Say Findlay's got you start in junior high, 7th, 8th grade?
For me at the high school, I will start. I have 10th grade to seniors. We have another staff who works with the freshmen. Okay. But in my case, again, I outside train too. So I have a lot of younger individuals that I've always trained. Apart from about the 6th grade up. So just like anything, it's a basic evaluation. I know everybody wants to, parents want their child to get right into the mix, get them bigger, stronger, all that stuff. But if you can't do a basic push-up, or if you can't properly squat down in a squat position, or if you can't run properly, I just start with the basics and I progress from there. And I can even have my high school kids. I have kids who can't sit down or push up. So I'll start with the basics. Wow. And we'll go from there.
And do everything correctly.
Yes, do my best.
These poor guys, well, your weight machines, and we'll talk your little different machines, but boy, free weights and stuff. I've watched these guys do all these things, and they don't bend correctly and all that stuff. And
everybody is built different. I mean, if you like you said, you talked about the science part. Everybody's going to move and bend and lean, and everything's different. So for instance, I can't take a 5'10" kid and compare him to my 6'7" guy. That's two different body types. Right. One guy can sit lower than the other. One guy can do something different. So I evaluate everybody differently.
We used to have the bench press contest, and the bench press, and poor guys, these little short arm guys, they're ripping. Yep. The long guys who you really want in football, they're struggling because they're long arms and stuff like that.
I definitely know what that feels like. Yes.
I bet you do.
Yep.
In more ways than one, probably. Okay. Tell a couple things. Now, you talk about barbells. What's the importance of barbells? I don't even know what free weights.
Free weights.
Yeah. What's the importance? Why should people get on those?
Get off or get on?
Get on. I'm sorry, get on.
I think any bit of resistance training, learning to use the weights, it's just going to help you overall, strengthen the body overall. Will help with balance,
Right.
things of that nature. You have your free weights versus your machine type weights.
Right.
Some of the machine weights, as we know, will put you in a fixed position. You're pushing or pulling in that position, whereas joint stability, working that stabilization on the barbell is way different. So
Right.
you can leg press 1,000 pounds. I've heard it a million times, but if I get you on the squat bar or the barbell and squat, and you can barely sit down with 225 on your back, it's a whole different world. So yeah.
But do they work together then, Coach? I mean, you try to mix them in, right, or not?
Well, in some settings, depending where you're at, a lot of schools, a lot of gyms are getting away from a lot of the machine type weights. They may use it for like more injury prevention stuff.
Oh, really?
Like in my day of playing, was nothing wrong with it. We had a lot of more hammer strength equipment, which is a lot more
Right.
machine type weights, just depending what the weights are.
Right.
But now, yeah, we're strictly free weights, dumbbells, barbells, bands, med balls. So that's basically where I'm at.
Med balls. That's really good. Well, I used to run combines. And
Yes.
Instead of the bench press, we used the medicine ball.
Mm-hmm.
Now, people thought that, we're not going to bench. No. And medicine balls, the throw done correctly, you learn a lot. Done correctly. It's a lot better for me, I thought, than maybe getting hurt with the barbells in a combine.
Yep.
Or, guys taking that time to switch them. And I know you do 185, and I really like the medicine ball throw. I mean,
we do a lot of explosive work that way. Chest pass with the med ball. We'll do rotational work with the med ball. We'll throw the med ball up in the air, out in front. So we do a lot of different exercises with the med ball, working on that explosive power. Yep.
That's really good. And how do you tie in stretching with this?
Right. We do a lot of mobility work. Just give you an example. So every morning we hit the floor 4 days a week, 5:50 a.m. We're going into April or mid-April now. We've been going at it since we get 30 days off from season. And then we'll go about 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, get a break, go through
football. You're talking about football now.
Yeah, football. Yep. We'll go about 2 weeks leading up to Christmas, get a break, and then we hit it full go come January. So 4 days a week. When we come in, I get the guys to get they get to stretch on their own, some mobility work. They'll get bands, and we got a protocol drills that we do. So we'll work on some hip stuff, some shoulder stuff, and then we'll get into our workouts. But for stretching, mobility work, flexibility work, we tie that in every workout.
Coach, tell me what the bands are. I mean, tell us what the bands are.
Resistance bands. If you've seen them part of the workout, again, there's different things that you can use them for. You can use them a part of your workout. You see some exercises where you can, tie them up to the barbells, to the equipment. We use them more for the mobility side. So stretching, hamstring work, shoulder work. It just depends what the exercise is how I implement the bands. But in a nutshell, we use them to more for stretching purposes.
Right. That's what I thought.
Yep.
And they're pretty strong too, aren't they?
Yeah, there's different resistance levels. Yep. We have a good selection of them.
Okay. Now I'm going to impress you here, Coach. You believe in the undulating periodization?
Yes.
Tell me what the undulating what's the difference between the other one's linear, right?
Yes, linear. You always say in the nutshell. Yeah, I always say in the nutshell, just linear. The sets and reps. Go
Right.
straight ahead, and then we'll progress as we go. Undulating.
Okay.
Again,
So now a minute. This is the one I think it's really important, by the way.
the undulating.
What you're doing, the undulating.
Yes. So we will our reps, our sets, even our exercises. So we have a method where for us, our core exercises, the bench, the squat, we even deadlift, then we have our back exercises.
Right.
And then all of our auxiliary lifts, excuse me. But from there, for our set rep schemes, yes, we will, as the word undulate, we will change based off our blocks, when we go. So right now, for us and our sets and rep schemes, we're kind of like, I guess in a nutshell, like that power area right now. We're hitting maybe the 2s and 3s, maybe a 5, depending what we're doing.
Right.
But it changes throughout the week.
That's
the month.
Volumes and reps.
Yes.
I read that. And so volumes would be the weight, and then the reps, how many reps you do. Or no,
Sure.
I'm sorry, volumes, how many times, I guess.
Yes. Yep.
Sets with reps would be the other one then.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's really good. And it does, to me, that makes more sense because now you're giving your muscles a chance to, stretch and everything, rather bulking up with just the same, like the linear method and stuff like that.
If I want to go old school, which, that's how I learned how to lift. Back
Right.
in the days, I guess I would say, we just did a pyramid scheme. We just go up weekly in weight and just try to get strong.
Yeah.
But I think the athletes, all my athletes, no matter what the sport, they like the variation. It's something different every workout, just about.
Right.
I don't get too crazy with variation. I don't want to throw the body off too much, but
Right.
if we're looking for that stimulus, we'll squat for 6 weeks, and then we'll go to a single leg type squat for a couple, 6 weeks. So I change it up that way, but I don't switch around every workout.
Okay, I just have a couple more things. These things, we're at 16 minutes and it's going fast.
Yeah, it is. I like it.
Tell me about different sports then. I mean,
Okay.
like, say a boy is a pure basketball player.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing football, maybe something, but a basketball.
Mm-hmm.
How much different is his program than football or anything else? What's the difference there?
That's a great question.
Programs, or they all do about the same?
It's a great question. I would say on the high school level, maybe even middle school level, or whenever we get, the student athletes working.
Right.
First and foremost, I always just want to get them in the weight room. If they have no experience
Right.
at all.
Right.
I just want to get them in the weight room.
Right.
And start building up like we talked about. Like I said, if you can't do a push-up, or if you can't squat down, if you can't bend properly, we're going to work on the basics. But as we progress, get on programs, my football players are going to lift different than my soccer players or my basketball players. Basketball players, I'm going to focus on similarly some of the same exercises, but
Right.
we'll probably do a lot more plyometric stuff, jumping.
Right.
They are overhead athletes. They throw the ball. They got their arms in the air. I worked with basketball on the collegiate level. I think one of the things I worked with a lot was a big thing was watching the heart monitoring, things of that nature. We don't have access to that using heart monitors, but I've been around stuff like that because they're up and down that court.
Right.
Things change.
Right.
But every athlete is kind of different. Yeah.
That's good. I have just a couple more questions, and these are more personal.
Yeah.
Tell me, I get videos from kids all the time or from coaches, and my biggest thing is kids don't have the burst.
Mm-hmm.
Initial, I call it first gear and fifth gear.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have either one of those. What do you think then, Avery? What's the best to start out with developing a burst? And I think a lot of it's God-given.
Right.
But it's just the way it is. But what can you help with the burst then?
Like I always tell the kids, what we do in the weight room, I do care, but I don't care how much you bench, squat, deadlift, whatever. We got to transition that to the field or to the court. So we work on the explosive, the big exercises, the squats, the deadlifts, the jumping.
Okay.
We got to transition all that to the field. So we'll work on technique. The stronger we get, the more explosive we get, the more power we generate. We transit over, getting our stance and starts. We work on the basics of just a good push, stand low.
Tell me real quickly, what do you mean by good push?
Push, like for instance, today we're doing our half kneeling start. So we're working on some explosive stance and start.
Okay.
Kind of like a track stance.
Okay.
We're in a half kneeling start. We're focusing on just that good push off their foot, coming off low, using their knee that's pointing directly in front of them, for their guide and not to pop straight up. And, just give good coaching cues. I always tell them, just imagine what a track sprinter looks like coming out of their stance. And they're getting better at it. They're getting the cues better now. And I'm seeing, starting from the foot.
Do you do much from a 2-point as well, I think?
Yeah. Right now we're doing a half kneel. So,
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
But we build.
I think it's one of the most important things for kids, especially receivers and running backs.
Yep.
I know linemen as well, but those receivers, they have to have that. Everybody runs 4.5, 4.4, the receivers, but corners do too.
Yeah.
So you got to have a way to burst or get open, I think. And the other thing, and I just tell me about quarterbacks.
Yep.
I think it's so important for core muscles. And a lot of times parents will look at me like I just got off the ship or something like that. I say core muscles and back muscles are so important. And it's not you may disagree. I don't think it's the bulk arms up here. Mm-hmm. In fact, baseball players don't really have those. But what's your thinking on training a quarterback? I know you've had successful quarterbacks at Findlay. You have one now. You've had them at the university. Well, how would you train quarterbacks? You have to get some up in here. Or where do you think the core muscles and everything come into play?
It's for all athletes. That's important.
Okay.
We all talk about core stability. That's just more than seeing your abs. Again, that's basically your trunk, your hips. Again, example, as you know, our quarterback, Mr. Ryan Montgomery, I've had experience with him now for 4 years. So to watch him develop from
and he has
180-pound freshman to we've been at about the 217-pound mark, and lower body, heavy emphasis, core. We do upper body train, but I do watch his shoulders. We do a lot of all posterior chain work, from the neck down, from behind.
You're starting to get me there now with posterior and okay, I'm joking with you.
Yeah, posterior chain for those who don't know, in the back, anterior, the front. Yeah. I do, if we do dumbbell bench or bench press, I do get him. He's strong enough for that, but we do a lot of unilateral work, so single arm work, bench pressing. At this stage where he's at, I always tell him he has nothing more to prove to me. So we're kind of maintaining. But yeah, for a quarterback, shoulder, back, hips, lower body. Yep.
Okay. Thank you. Then 2 more things. I was approached about doing combines for girls. Mm-hmm. Okay. And in fact, some big schools said, hey, I think it's a great idea. Mm-hmm. I didn't get it done. Do you think that's a good idea, running just to get more times on them? Now, a coach, I think at Ohio State said, now don't forget, John, the girls can't run some of those drills like a 5-10-5. I think they can, but they got to be careful. They got to do different kinds of drills. Do you agree with that or have any comment on that?
It's another great question. If they need numbers on, their athletes,
right.
I work with female women's soccer and women's softball.
I know you do.
They go to if they go to showcases, and not only they need to see how far they throw or kick, but if they want to see how they move.
Yeah.
And if there's a combine that showcases change of direction drills, or how far they can go from first base to second or something like that, hey, I'm all about it. I like to get numbers on them just to see how fast and how they move and stuff.
Okay, that's really good. My last question, and I think it's why you impressed me a little bit. You called yourself it's the old copycat.
Right.
Copycat theory. And as a former football coach, for heaven's sakes, everybody copies.
Right.
So that's important. So using that comment, you keep learning and learning and learning, right? You keep reading or listening or watching to get better, to learn something different. That's important to you, I think.
That is 1,000% accurate. If you stop learning, you're just not doing. You're doing the profession a disservice. Stick to your guns, stick to your method on some things, but trying to kind of check the ego and learn. Okay. Like I said earlier, always put a new tool in my toolbox. I'm trying to learn whatever I can and absorb that information.
Yeah. Okay, Coach. I'm not going to get into this because I don't agree with it. I'm an old school guy, but there are so many guys out there that have all the answers in strength training and conditioning and private instructors and all that. And I'm not saying they're not good, but boy, I just think they need to be evaluated because make sure you're teaching the kids the right things. And I don't want you to comment on it because
I love to comment on it.
Well, I don't want to get you in trouble.
Oh, no. I've been a private trainer, outside trainer.
Yeah.
I've heard it a million times. I would say, for a parent, if you're looking for the right outside coach, do your research, do your homework.
Right.
And then when it comes to connecting with maybe the student athletes, other coaches, try to build that relationship. I have a great relationship with a lot of the other coaches from schools where some of my athletes are from.
That's
and
great.
We're on the same page. We communicate. That's what it's all about. And so far, maybe in the past, but now everybody's on the right page. I see what they do. Yeah. They see what I do. We'll talk about it. If it's benefiting the athlete, I think we're all on the same page and everything's good.
If it's benefiting the athlete for number one,
yep.
That's what we're all trying to do. Even what I do is trying to help kids and stuff.
Just trying to help.
Coach Avery Lane, I really appreciate you taking the time. Okay.
I definitely appreciate it, sir.
If, like we've talked, if there's anything I can do, please let me know. Okay. It'd be great.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.